Hi, my name is Justine, and this is my sewing journal. Today, we're diving into my 2024 Make 9 challenge. Let's see which ones are my favorite makes and which ones are total fails. Before we get into it, I just want to check in and see if everyone's all right. I hope you are keeping safe and warm, especially after the two storms that we had. We were all right here in Newcastle. We did not get a lot of rain, but it was really windy for a couple of days. In fact, it was that windy that our birdhouse in the back garden did not actually survive. It's a shame because for several summers, we've seen blue tits actually using the birdhouse. I guess it's time to get a new one in time for spring. It's been roughly a year since I posted my 2024 Make 9 challenge. To recap, these are what I set out to make. First is a green knit top inspired by this bright green cardigan. Second is this Mizoni inspired knit dress. Third is this pajama set with contrast piping. Fourth is a semi-fitted knit dress. Next is a quilted patchwork jacket. Sixth is a tie-top blouse. Seventh is a shirt dress with a flared skirt. Eighth is a sporty set. Finally, a summer dress with a cutout back. Out of the 9 sewing projects, I only made 5. I've made more than 5 garments last year, but they're just not on this Make 9 list. I've made 3 versions of project number 6, so maybe it's 7 items from this list. Anyway, out of the 5 garments I made from this list, there are 2 items that I really love. They are my favorites out of this list, but also out of everything I've made last year. So one of my favorites is this sporty jersey set. I was surprised at how much I love this set. I think I paired the fabric and pattern perfectly. The pattern I use is McCall's 8365, which is a corset-style jacket. For the bottoms, I just traced an old pair of flare jeans that I already own. I was inspired by athleisure and loungewear sets that I've seen on the high street, but I wanted something a bit more fun. I wore this a lot last year. I wore it when I had a coffee date with a girlfriend at the Hello Kitty pop-up cafe at the Somerset Museum in London. I also wore this when I traveled to Amsterdam. I also wore this when I went to the London Stitch Festival. I was really chuffed when a couple of people stopped me to compliment me on my outfit. Also wore it when I traveled to the Scottish Highlands last summer. As you would have gathered, it is a great set to wear for travel. I also like the fact that it is a unique set and feels very individual. By the way, I have another video where I talked more about this set as well as my experience using Maraflex threads. I'll definitely make another set this year, but maybe this time I will experiment with a different material. Maybe denim with a slight stretch would work. I like this printed denim, but because it has a dark background, I'm concerned it might not look too good when the fabric starts to fade. So maybe something with a lighter background would be better. Moving on to my next favorite is this tie-top blouse. This style of blouse has been popular for several years now, and it looks like the popularity has not waned. In fact, McCall's has just released a new pattern for this blouse. There are many similar patterns already on the market. I prefer these other patterns to the McCall's version because of the placement of the fourth ribbon. I just think it looks oddly placed. For my blouse, I hacked this new look N6698 pattern. I shortened the bodice, added a peplum, and of course, instead of buttons, I've added bows for fastening. This was such a satisfying make, so satisfying that I made 3 versions. I talked about it in detail in a separate video. Out of the 3, I think my favorite is the leopard version. I wore it to work and to play. I wore it on its own and wore it as a layering piece. So these 2 are the successful makes out of my Make 9 list. Now here are the 2 things that I failed to make last year. So the first one is this pajama set from Nina Lee. The plan was to make a pajama-style outerwear out of this lovely Liberty fabric. I thought making this pajama set would be good practice for sewing piping. I didn't get anywhere near to starting this project. On reflection, I thought it was too much for me. I did not think I'll make a good job of doing buttonholes and piping, so I did not even start. Which is really me going round in circles because that was the point of adding this on the Make 9 list. I guess to compensate, I started the year by making this cardigan that has several buttonholes. The second item that I did not get around to sewing is this Missoni dress. I'm not sure why I did not make this dress because this is one of the projects I was excited about last year. I found a really Missoni-like fabric and the right pattern to make it. At first, I think I was just too scared to cut the fabric because it's a dead stock fabric and if I made a mistake, I won't be able to buy it again. Late last year, I finally got around to cutting the fabric, but still did not manage to make the dress. I'll probably get around to making this sometime in March. Now, the other project that I did not make is this dress with 1,000,000 buttons. Well, not 1,000,000 buttons, but 1 too many. Aside from my fear of making buttonholes, I think I wasn't too sure if this style of dress suits me. I would still like to use this pattern because I find the bodice is interesting. I think I will just make a shirt rather than a dress. I'm thinking it might be a good idea to use plain white cotton poplin to make the details stand out. The third one and the last one that I did not make is this Sewing Bee quilted jacket. With this one, I knew when I added it to my list that there was a chance I wouldn't be able to make it. The plan was to use leftover fabrics from other projects. I do have leftover fabrics. However, they don't look good together. I think I would rather wait until I have enough scrap fabrics to make a cohesive looking jacket. Now let's talk about the other items that I made on that list, starting with this dress that I'm wearing. So the plan was to make a summer dress with a matching bucket hat. I really like this white sample dress that they have on the packet. However, I'm not sure about the underwear situation if you make this dress in white. The knot detail in front is a bit too low for a bra. So I thought I'll make a wearable toile to test this pattern. I found this cheap fabric that has an interesting print. From a distance, it looks like a camouflage print. Up close, it's actually a crowd. Realistically, I won't be wearing this dress without a vest underneath. Although I adjusted the cutout on the back, I still feel that my underwear will be exposed if I do wear it without a vest. I do like how it turned out. Depending on how I layer it, I think I can wear it in different seasons. I did not make the hat because I couldn't find my bucket hat. Perhaps when I book an Italian holiday, I'll make the white version. That's where I was envisioning this white version will be perfect for. Another one I made is this simple long sleeve top. I love the idea of wearing a bright, happy color in the cooler, darker months for a dopamine boost. This top is also perfect for traveling as it doesn't crease as much. I like the style of the sleeves and I think of this as an elevated basic. Lastly, I made this bodycon dress using this McCall's pattern. This was quite straightforward to make. The only note I have for this one is that I might not have chosen the right fabric for me. I think this color doesn't do anything for me. If I get a chance to use this pattern again, I will just use a plain black knit fabric. So there you go, that's my Make 9 2024 challenge list completed, sort of. There's 4 items that I did not make. There's 5 that I did, and out of the 5, I really love 2 garments. So for this year, I have not prepared a list, although I have already started a couple of projects. One of these projects in progress is this Liberty set. I've got all the pieces for the trousers and the top. As part of my New Year's resolution, that is to use more of the fabrics I have in stash. I was pleasantly surprised that I have this plain chartreuse fabric that matches this Liberty fabric perfectly. This plain fabric is heavier than the Liberty fabric, so I'm excited to see if these 2 fabrics will actually hang well together. Another one I'm working on is this knitwear. This time, I'm mixing a stretchy fabric with a woven fabric. So I'll be using the printed fabric, which is the jersey fabric, to be the base of the skirt, and the plain blue georgette would be an accent of some sort. I bought both fabrics online from 2 different shops. I was pleased that I managed to find the right blue to match with the blue dots on the pink fabric. Another one I'm working on is this Blanca jumpsuit. I knew beforehand that this will take some time to make, which is fine because I do want to take my time making this. It's my first time making a jumpsuit, so I do want to understand how to construct this garment. The fabric I'm using is one from Fabric Godmother that I gifted myself last Christmas. I'm almost finished with this project. I just need to hem the trousers and hem the sleeves. Again, I would just like to thank everyone for watching my videos and joining me in my sewing journey. I hope to see you next time. In the meantime, happy sewing! Bye!